from the City of Angels, arising from the depths of the left coast to disseminate intellectual anarchy. You are listening to the James Salazar Media Podcast, where you get your weekly dose of pop culture, politics, and futurism. So hold on to your hats and glasses, because this is the wildest ride in the wilderness.
Engage.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Say hello to my little friend.
No, I am the father.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
What's up, savages? And welcome to the James Salazar Media Podcast. I am your host, James Salazar, aka The Media. On today's episode of the podcast, we're going to cover some headlines from the world of futurism, but I want to cover some entertainment and as well as some politics. So let's get into it. I saw Godzilla. Spoilers in 1, 2, 3. Now, if you have been a faithful listener since the beginning, I did a podcast about what I thought about the first Godzilla. And I had a lot of issues with it, mostly because of this hero Godzilla. It annoyed me. Back when you used to watch the old ones, Japanese ones, they always had some little girl or some little kid who always believed in Godzilla would help, and Godzilla always did the right thing. And when Godzilla's about to go back into the ocean, the little kid will be standing on the hill. "We love you, Godzilla. Don't go, Godzilla. Don't go. We love you." But it's in Japanese. "We love you, we love you." And Godzilla looks back, yeah, and just goes in. It was pretty stupid. But it was still entertaining back in the day. But now, I mean, we're still doing that type of story writing. It seems pretty silly to me. But I did like the second one better than the first one. It still had that theme. It doubled down on that theme that Godzilla is the good guy. And he is watching over us like a savior. Not really, but I'm being facetious. But yeah, but I like this one better because there's a whole lot of action in it. This one wasn't so much chasing Godzilla all around and based on the story of the kid before trying to get back to his family. This is just about following Godzilla and where he's going and catching up to all the different monsters. And they focus on 4 monsters, even though there's like 27 monsters going crazy. They focus on Godzilla, Monster Zero, Rodan, and then Mothra. Those are the focal points. Those are the major fights we see. And a lot of action between them all. A lot of cool special effects. It's very entertaining. Like I said, and some corniness. I mean, but it's a Godzilla movie. I mean, what do you expect? But there's a lot of corny things that happen at the end. And I guess somehow we're supposed to live in harmony with Godzilla. I mean, he's supposed to like chill on a mountain. I don't know. It seems weird, but there is definitely an adventurous movie. I thought it was interesting that the enemy, the bad person in the bad human, was an environmentalist, an extreme environmentalist who believes that, like most environmentalists, left of center with extreme views, believes that humans are the disease, and we're like an invasive species, and which is silly because it just means we just use our brain, and we have opposable thumbs, and with our brain with opposable thumbs, we're able to create things that make our lives better, but now we never knew how it was gonna hurt the environment. So but they want to act like we're some kind of virus. No. That's silly. There's nothing that comes from our bodies that infects something else. unless it's other people. So I said all that to say this, and ironically, the girl who's the bad person who does a turn believes that humans are valuable. You can hear the reasoning very close to the reasoning, same one that Hitler used to get rid of the Jews. That they're a menace. They're not really fully human. Same things they said to enslave black people. So I thought it was for a industry, Hollywood, that is left of center, liberal, that they would put. And that's happened a lot, because I don't know if the capitalist, they really can't get a capitalist to come and destroy the world, because the capitalist wants to make money off people. He needs people to make money. Where the environmentalist needs to kill people for the earth to renew itself. So I guess for the sake of writing, and that's the thing about all villains, right? True villains, people believe, even like people who've done terrible things, in their mind they have justified it. Some way, somehow, that they're the victim. Victimization is such a powerful emotion. It can kill, it can create genocides, it can ruin your own little miserable life, feeling sorry for yourself, and it can be put on a scale that can kill 6 million Jews. It's an incredible thing. But I liked Godzilla. Super entertaining. I give it 4.5 potatoes. Just on excitement. Still think it would have got... No, I'm going to give it 4 potatoes. It would have got a 5 if it was a better story. But they sort of doubled down on the old story. But the action's really good. The action's really good. The special effects are amazing. And it made me feel like a kid again. And, and there's some fun and good casting. And that guy from, I forget the actor, from Silicon Valley's in it. He's pretty funny. A lot of good moments to make it very entertaining. So 4.5 potatoes. So I know everybody's on the news, and we're going to get into politics really quick. I got something really quick to say about it. Donald Trump's going over to England, and a lot of people are protesting. And there's people that are for him, and there's people that are against him. But I don't know. I understand people don't like Donald Trump because of what he says, and they may not have his values, and or some of his values are lined up with my values, but not all of them. And they are saying how, making fun of Americans about who we elected. But I don't know if I want to be lectured about a group of people who believe a family's better than them because of their birth. And they have this family, and they subsidize their living with opulence that they didn't create or earned. And they get to hold the title of queen and prince. Those fuckers need to go to work. I mean, you guys are still stuck in the freaking Stone Age that you're subsidizing with the British people's taxes. These people who their family were known for atrocities, going into Scotland and Ireland, and pretty much killing them and taking their lands. Now I understand that those wars go back and forth, but what King George and what Longshanks and all those guys, they did some terrible shit to people, and And for somehow, because they founded England, they get to still, and the descendants gets to still be taken care of. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be lectured by you people who believe those people are better, and that you want a group of people that are better than you by birth. And you know what? The way you say they're better than you is because you subsidize them. Okay? There should be, if you don't like it, if you don't think they're better, then they shouldn't exist. Those fuckers need to go to get a job, do some hard work, and earn a living like every other British citizen. So I'm not going to be lectured by those people by telling me making fun of the people who we duly elected through our democratic system. I'm not going to be lectured. That's all I have to say. All right? I'm not going to have them tell me about who I voted for when you have a queen still. That old bitch needs to start cleaning out the toilets and taking out the trash. I'm like the only one? Or what? It's pretty stupid. I mean, if I was in England, they're like, yeah, I can't believe you voted that president. You believe in kings and queens. Shut the fuck up. You silly, silly people. Whatever. Let's get into some headlines from the world of futurism. First headline, Boston Dynamics CEO wants its robo-dogs to fight each other. Okay. According to a newly published court story, Ruppert thinks people might use sport minis, which are small dogs by Boston Dynamics, as fighting avatars in a network game with physical actors. He also played a video for the audience in which 4 miners knocked around a blue ball, perhaps signaling their potential to use in less combative sports. All right. So I guess the real word says that including. Oh yeah, this is what I thought was interesting. As fighting avatars in a network game with physical actors. So sort of like Steel was like Wolverine, Hugh Jackman. He plays like he can move, do the movements, and the robot does the same movements. So I guess that's what we're looking at in the future. I don't know. They're looking to make it public now instead of military or robot overlords taking over. They're definitely going to use Boston Dynamic robo-dogs. If you want to see a frightening prediction or a fictional story about the possibilities, they're inside the Black Mirror, there is one about a automated dog security system, and it's pretty terrifying. So yeah, check that out. It's the way of the future. And there we go. Harvard just gene hacked stem cells inside a living organism. All right. Normally, altered a stem cell with CRISPR requires extracting it, keeping it alive in a lab setting, and hoping that the edit takes after reinserting it into the body. But now Harvard scientists have found a way to skip the process, according to research 30452-8, published in the Journal of Cell Report. Their new technique alters the genomes of stem cells in a mouse body and spreads the editing throughout the creature's body as a cell reproduced. So whatever they do inside the cell, they have the cells reproduce it into other cells. or spreads it out and spread the editing throughout the creature's body as cells reproduce. All right, so it sticks, and when it divides, whatever happened, whatever they did with CRISPR into that original cell, gets reproduced into another cell. So, I guess that's if that I didn't know they couldn't do that, so now I know they can. So, I guess that's just way more advancement. I guess you just get all you have to do is just do a couple of cells, and it will automatically spread through the whole body, as opposed to just doing a few cells. So, I mean, it'll just take over, right? So it's very important that they get these things right, that they don't create no new diseases or problems, because once that happens, I know I'm going dystopian already. That if someone did a shitty job, that shitty job is gonna reproduce itself through the whole body. So that can be scary, but I mean, when it comes to cancers and stuff like that, you just put a few cells in, boom, boom, bang, bing, boom, bing, 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 bang, boom. It spreads through the whole body, killing the cancer cells or redesigning them or whatever. So, brave new world. Magic mushroom decriminalized in second U.S. city. On Tuesday, the Oakland City Council voted unanimously to decriminalize entheogenic plants, entheogenic plants and fungi, including petos and mushroom containing psilocybin. That means adults over the age of 21 can now possess hallucinogens delivered from the source without worrying about facing criminal penalties. So not only weed is available, now fungi. European Space Agency radiation will make Mars mission deadly. Yeah, I think they know that. Because it lacks a natural barrier that protects us Earthlings from cosmic radiation, which would put astronauts at risk for deadly health conditions. But they're working on it. Of course they are. I don't know if that's much news. This must be a dry news day. And Amsterdam is paying MIT to develop robots barges for its canals. Nice. So when you take a canal ride, there's going to be no one seen. Well, I think that's in Italy. But you're going to get into an autonomous boat. Awesome. NASA chooses first astronaut to ride SpaceX Dragon spacecraft. Let's see who this person is. Space Shuttle veterans Bob Backhand and Doug Hurley will be blasting off from Cape Canaveral, Florida. People to a degree thinks it's pretty glamorous to be able to go into space, but it's actually like a messy camping trip. Okay, sure. When exactly Hurls and his crew will blast off into space is still uncertain. SpaceX Demo 1 Crew Dragon spacecraft was ripped to shreds during the engine test earlier this year, pushing back the launch date initially slated for July indefinitely. So, yeah, okay. So, those are the two people. And don't get too excited, because I mean, they're taking a big risk. I mean, on all actuality, I think it's like 60% is gonna fail. This is why we go to the moon again, and run things into the vacuum of space, going through space dust and space rocks and satellites and radiation. We need to troubleshoot all that problems by going to the moon, which is, believe it or not, a lot easier to do. And I guess that's easy to believe, that it will be easier to go to the moon than to Mars. But it is a good test before we take to that big leap, because we were going way further out than we've ever gone before. A German circus is using amazing holograms instead of animals. I guess. I'm looking at it. It looks like a cheap version of the holodeck. Whatever. I'm not paying money for that. Yeah, young blood transfusion do seem to fight aging. Boom. Scientists from Stanford University took blood from two groups of mice. One exhort was 2 weeks old and the other was 12 months old, and applied it to a human brain growth from embryonic stem cell. According to the new scientist, only the younger group blood boosted neural development, leaning more weight to the idea of medical vampirism. Oh, we're going to get into vampirism now, because, that's what Elizabeth Bathory. She killed all the virgins' blood and bathed in it because she thought it would make her look younger. And she drank it, and I guess there's some truth to that, but article. Something is blocking our view of our galaxy's giant black hole. Exiting X-rays observed have shown that our black hole accretion disk includes an inner layer of superhot gas, according to space.com, but this new research published Wednesday in the Journal of Nature confirms for the first time that there's cooler outer layer of gas in the accretion disk that hides the rest of the halo from view, and it could help explain how the black holes behave. This is the newly observed outer layer of gas ranges between 280 and 7,050 degrees Fahrenheit, 17,500 degrees Fahrenheit, according to the study, depending on how far out of the center its temperature is taken. Okay, so interesting. They believe that there's the way it's sitting that we can't see. We don't see it face to face. So that's interesting. Wild idea. Use rail guns to extract resources from the moon. A concept of a rail gun device to propel projectiles is incredible speeds. Electromagnetic energy can be around for over a century. The U.S. Navy has hard at work trying to turn the idea into a real-world long-range weapon, but Space Journal Leonard David points out far more futuristic idea in a new piece of space.com that could use a railgun to launch stuff off the surface of the moon and into space. All right, just shoot down right into the moon. Probably good source of, it's like dynamite, right? Mining. But we don't need to use dynamite in a zero atmosphere. We'll just use railgun. So, yeah, that seems cool. That seems like a great idea, as long as it works. Researchers build an AI that translates babies' cries. because babies can cry because they're sick or in pain, okay? A lot of the times they cry because they're hungry, cranky, or just feel like stretching their vocal cords. But now researchers at the North Illinois University found a way to use artificial intelligence to decipher between two types of vocalization. And not only could the AI save new parents from a lot of unnecessary worry, it could also save sick babies' lives. So that's good, because a lot of times, if you ever had a baby at one time, you're like, and it's crying a lot, you're like, what's the matter? You know, you're holding it, you're shaking it, not shaking it, you're holding it, you're trying to comfort it, and then anyway problems. But if you knew if it was sick, if you knew if it was in pain, if you knew if it was hungry or cranky, had enough sleep, you can, pick a direction and follow through on it. But what happens is you're like, Betty time, it's not working. Okay, maybe it's feed it. Oh, maybe it's sick. Maybe it's this. And, you're just trying to figure out all these different ways. But now, if AI can decipher, little bit less sleepless nights. So that's always a good thing. Thank God for our robot overlords. It's unlikely, but a 160-foot asteroid may hit Earth in September. Good to know. Mark your calendars. A massive 140-foot asteroid called 2006 QV89 has a 1 in 7,000 chance of smashing into Earth on the morning of September 9th. The giant space rock is one of 10 asteroids that may make up ESA risk list. A ranking of objects for which a non-zero impact probability has been detected. A non-zero. Okay. So if there's more than it's a 1% chance, you're going on the list. Good for you, Space Rock. May your journey be swift and true. And let me see what we got here. Why someone hid a giant dong on the Ethereum blockchain. All right, someone's messing around. Advocates of the blockchain technology will tell you that the decentralized networks are built with trust in mind, because every user holds a copy of the transaction record. No one has enough power to exploit the other. Since each translation on the blockchain becomes a permanent public record, some activists have used the note section of transactions to circumvent government censorships in China and other people. Vice reports use them to upload monstrous ASCI penises to an Ethereum blockchain. Here it is in all its glory. Okay, there's a picture of a man's penis hidden in the blockchain. So I guess China, and it's how it oppresses society. People who are smart are finding ways to be active or be an activist, to show that they cannot fully monitor them to the point where they cannot express some kind of free will. It's just it's finding the man in their own way. Scientists can enhance electronics by shooting them with lasers. Okay. New models are giving physicists clues for how to build quantum circuitry or power conducting materials. In a delightful twist, the secret seems to be blasting things with lasers. Scientists from Northeastern University, the University of Texas, found that they could better manipulate properties of the material by subjecting them to a short laser burst and powerful magnetic field. Okay. Oh, that was that's great. Lasers. I love lasers. Creepy human-like robot art is selling at astronomical prices. The artist, billed as one of the most exciting of our time, is about to launch his first solo expedition, but don't expect her to seem too excited about it. That's because Ida is a robot, one that looks creepily human. Okay. There's a picture of it, and artist, and let me see. She already sold 1.2 million worth of artwork. That makes all the other artists feel great. Uber is launching an on-demand helicopter service, obviously for rich people, and I'm pretty sure there's a market for it. I mean, passengers will pay between $200 to $225. That's pretty cheap. I mean, if I can get 4 people in there, if I'm late, I mean, if money's no object, if I need to get to LAX or I need to get to Santa Monica, shoot, I'll take a helicopter there, take a car back, or get to LAX without all the junk you have to go through on the freeway for $250. I mean, a black car. If I took a SUV from Uber, one of the luxury ones, like an Escalade, that's about $180. You're telling me for $50 more I could take a helicopter? Done. Dunsky. But I never order the black car. I order Uber X. So, that's cool. New experiment will test EM drives that breaks the laws of physics. Let's see how it breaks the law of physics. For nearly 20 years, scientists have debated the viability of an EM drive, a hyper-theoretical type of engine that could propel spacecrafts without the need of any fuel. If that sounds too good to be true, because it probably is, and working EM drive would literally break the laws of one of the foundational laws of physics. But that hasn't stopped scientists from top researcher organizations, including NASA and DARPA, from pursuing the tech, because the payoff would be extraordinary. The team of German physicists is conducting a new EM drive experiment that could end the debate surrounding the controversial concept once and for all. In 2021, British scientist Roger Sayer proposed the idea of generating thrust by pumping microwaves into a conical chamber, then bouncing off the cone walls, experimenting enough force to power a spacecraft. So EM drive, you see this a lot in Star Trek and all these other TV shows, because the EM drive, there's fast and light travel, which is warping or creating folding space in front of you and refolding it in back of you, and you're propelled like in a bubble going through this new dimension, slightly into a new dimension, a floating space in front of you, redeveloping and backing you, and you can go faster than light speed. I never knew why they can go 10, and then they couldn't go to ultimate. Because they always said warp factor 10. And I was like, what? Why isn't there warp factor 100? I don't know why we got to stop at 10. I mean, you're going fast, 10 times the speed of light. But I digress. But when they were driving, or when they're cruising around a solar system, they used the EM drive and to go around the solar system, because you can't always activate the warp drive. You run into a freaking planet, so it's too fast for the solar system. So there's a little sci-fi trivia for you, but definitely we can do that if well, let's get it straight. EM drives will have to be made in space, or they have to be propelled on top of a booster rocket to get out of space, because getting out of a gravity well, which is Earth is such a hard job to do. You need so much thrust to get to Mach 14 to get out of the gravity well of the Earth's atmosphere into space, and then from there on, the EM drive can kick in, because the EM drive probably wouldn't get enough force, even though it would eventually build up the speed that would be faster than the rocket booster. It couldn't blast it off. Well, at least I don't think so. Hopefully, I'm completely wrong that we can use an EM drive straight from the Earth's atmosphere to blast us off into out of this gravity well, which we call Earth, and each planet has. But I think if we do come with an EM drive, they will be created in our moon base. We'll probably have a shipyard where we build ships, and they could probably propel us to places where no man has gone before with little or no fuel. And that's amazing. Using something else. If fuel is not an issue, if you don't have to park and get gas, then, sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. Wait, new research says internet use is killing your memory. Oh, I could have told you that. Let's see. I hope I haven't read this one before. I feel like I've read it before, but I'm going to read it again. Boston Dynamics CEO wants robot dogs to fight each other. Yes, we've done this. Stupid. Europe is starting a ride-share for small satellites. In September, European Space Agency will launch a new space ride-share service capable of shuttling dozens of small satellites into space. Boom. There you go. If you have a satellite idea, guess what? You can get it up there with little or no cost, with just a smidgen of money. And I think I did the magic mushrooms. Let me see. Yeah, I did that. Choose this. All right, we talked about the guys who did that. A star just coughed something up, and scientists want to know why. Scientists just got their first complete glimpse of a massive solar eruption from a star other than our sun. The cosmic explosion, technically called the coronal mass ejection, rocketed about 2 quadrillion pounds of star plasma out into space, according to the press release from the Chandler X-ray Center, that makes the explosion 10,000 times larger than any of our sun's explosions. New glimpse at the powerful coronal coronal mass ejection could help astronomers understand how stars behave. Because we only been looking at ours. You know, I won't go into that. You know, we don't. Not everything that you think they see in their telescopes is actually saw. There is most of the things we can't see very clearly. I mean, we're getting better at that. The U.S. government is collecting social media handles for visa applications before you can enter the United States. Visa applications will now need to let the government know why you've been up on social media. The new policy went into effect requiring nearly all U.S. visa applications to share information about their social media accounts. All right, so if you want to get into this country, don't be talking shit on on social media. All right, don't be saying what you wish it would happen to the United States, and then you want to come to the United States. It ain't gonna work very too well, because they're gonna look at your social media and say, boom. Here's the thing that people really need to understand. You only have a freedom of speech in America if you're a citizen. If you are a resident or you're on a visa, you work under different rules than the American citizen does. See, American citizen gets due process and we freedom of speech, but if you're not a citizen and you said something, we don't have to let you in because you're not a citizen. You don't have the rights and privileges. So think about that next time you want to be mouthy. Overall, speak your mind. But if you're a hater, we're not going to be obligated to let you in. Those gene-hacked babies may be doomed to die young. That sucks. About a half a year after Chinese scientists in Jinkun brought gene-hacking babies into the world, cooler heads have finally prevailed. Scientists poured over hundreds of thousands of medical records to learn how the genes that he altered affect human health. His team gene hacked twin babies and the third baby due this summer. To knock out the gene called CCR5, it is hopes that it would render them immune to HIV. But according to research published by the journal Nature Medicine, people with the genome are 21% more likely to die before reaching the average age of life expectancy. So what is the trade-off? Scientists from UC Berkeley researched the respiratory of a human subject DNA to look for the same variants of CCR5 that Jinkun gave the children. They found that the same genome that might grant greater immunity from HIV also makes people vulnerable to dangerous flus and West Nile viruses. Oh, you can't be messing. Oh, you can't be messing with the genome. You can't be messing with the genome. The God will always have a say. Oh no. And let's see. The U.S. Army's next rifle may use facial recognition. That's about to come. soon, if this becomes a successful implementation, where the U.S. Army, if they do this correctly and it works, you'll see it come to the public, and you'll see rich people buy it first. You'll see rich people with all their handguns having handguns that uses facial recognition, and they're the only ones that can use it. And once that happens, it'll be more affordable to the poor or middle class, or the government might just say everybody who has a gun must have a facial recognition. And I don't think gun owners would hate that they are the only person that they can use their gun. It sort of personalizes the experience even more. At least that's what I think. But in a case of a zombie apocalypse or an alien invasion or a invasion by a hostile force, a rogue actors, or an evil nation, you want to be able to pick up any gun and shoot at your enemy. But if you don't have the right face, guess what? The zombie's going to eat your liver. So there might be advocates like that. But I definitely see places like California and people who have hot gun laws implementing this. NASA's plans for a lunar outpost just leaked. So NASA plans for the next 37 rocket launches to the moon, and it includes sending human astronauts in 2024, which is 5 years. The estimating so in 5 years, they will start sending stuff up to the moon and doing some rocketing, and I hope by 2028 that it would be a permanent base, which would be awesome. And they will also have a lunar orbiter around the moon, which we'll use as a space hub, a spaceport before you get down to the moon. But this is exciting. Definitely we'll see some shipyard come about, and it'll be a lot back to the EM drive. It will be a lot easier to make stuff in space. We know we have 3D printers, and using space material and moon material to create the panels of ships, like in a weightless atmosphere. You'll definitely see robots and 3D printers create and put together, as well as engineers and workers put together ships. And these ships will be a lot bit bigger inside, much like how you see in Star Trek, where a lot of room to move around, because they make them so small because of gravity. Gravity weighs so much that we know that we can't make the Starship Enterprise on Earth and expect it to blast off in space. It's not going to happen. It's too heavy. But if you make it in space in a weightless environment, definitely, we can make those halls bigger. We can make rooms bigger, and have recreation rooms and a big cafeteria, because we're not trying to lift that out of a gravity well called Earth. We're making it in space where there is no gravity. So, which means if you ever get caught in a gravitational pull, in space, you are fucked with such a big ship like the Starship Enterprise. But yeah, we're boldly going where no man has gone before, and I'll give you to 10 years later, if we establish the base on 2028, I'll give you by 2038, we will be able to visit this moon base. 10 years before capitalist and American Airlines and all that want to, or Virgin Atlantic, who's already ahead of the game, will be taking tourists to space, and you'll see some space hotels. Guess what, people? In 10 to 15 years, there's going to be a space casino. And they better not have it. If they can do it, it better be casino. Cause can you imagine? Like a space dome. And it's you can play roulette. Oh, that would be amazing. I mean, because basically you just want to go. I mean, can you imagine a Vegas if like the moon became like Vegas, and tons of casinos and tons of casinos and gambling and hotels, water parks and amusement. Sheesh, that would be amazing. With a monorail system that attaches it all. The likeness that a rock could hit the moon is the likeness that the rock could hit Earth. So we'll have to need an orbital platform to shoot down these smaller rocks. But anything's possible, people. In 50 years, we definitely can have Moon Vegas. Las Moon. Whatever. I digress. Shit's happening. In our lifetime. Which is exciting. And Congress denies NASA's request for more moon mission, more money for the moon base, and more money for the mission. I'm pretty sure this is politically motivated because I think that most of Americans know how stupid our government spends money on, and I think they don't mind money spent on space exploration, considering all this other stupid shit we spent it on. And I think if Donald Trump can successfully talk about that, about all the waste, how easily we could pay for this if we got rid of these certain programs. I think he could win, and that these people, if he can make the case that they're anti-scientific, the Democrats, then it could go through. This election is going to be very interesting. If he wins the House, the Republicans win the House, definitely, and he keeps the Senate and he keeps the presidency, that money's going to be, fast-tracked. But if he loses the Senate and the House, you can kiss this whole space race goodbye. As soon as they burn through that money, there'll be no more money allocated to it. And like government agencies, everything costs more. The free market does it better, but when it comes to the space race, we need regulation. We do. We can't have people doing shitty shit in space. So government has to take a regulative police patrol type of mentality or position when it comes to race. And to work hand in hand with NASA is never a bad thing. They just need to get rid of all their bureaucracy. But like I said, Donald Trump is doing this for his legacy. People just don't understand Donald Trump. He cares about what his legacy will be. And like I said, if he can reignite the space race with NASA, and 20 years from now, when we're on a moon base and we're mining the Kuiper Belt, and we're off to the Mars, and we're going to Titan and all these different moons in Saturn, guess what? People will remember his crazy treats. People won't remember that he tried to grab some girl's pussy, or said he did, which I think is a lie. Which, the fact of the matter is, no one's ever came out and said, yes, he tried to grab my pussy. No one's coming forth. So it tells us one thing, that the Democrats are wrong, and Donald Trump likes to lie in front of dudes about his conquest. He never did that to anybody. He never went up to a girl who he thought he liked them and grabbed them in their crotch. And he was playing the part, trying to be too cool for school and lying about what he would do. So, there's a knock on both of them. But yeah, moon-based, here we come. If Donald Trump remains president, I'm sorry that's your choice. Either future exploration or or Donald Trump. What do we else? What else do we have here? Space engineers. We could move the Earth orbiting to escape a dying sun. About 5 billion years from now, the sun's gonna be explode. All right. But 5 billion years. If you look at the advancements of humans in the last 100 years, and that would be from 1919 to 2019, our technology has expanded in leaps and bounds. 5 billion years. If we can't move the Earth away in 5 billion years, then maybe we should lose it. Maybe we should get blown up. Because I'll say, like, in 1 billion year, let's just cut it by 3%, or whatever the percentage is. If it would be, I mean, okay, 500 million years, that's 1%. 10%. Cut it down by 10%. 500 million years, we'll be able to create our own solar systems and create our own suns and definitely fix the one that we have. Like the red matter in Star Trek. So, yeah, we should be able to do that. If not, we're a sorry group of people. SpaceX is about to launch a solar cell inspired by Carl Sagan. Solar cells means it gets pushed by the rays of the sun. It's very low cost. It's almost like a EM drive without any what do you call that? Gas. It's just pushed like winds would push a kite. The solar rays push, and you get some speed. And it takes a while to build up, but you can theoretically get to close to the speed of light if it keeps on going. So we'd like to see how that works, definitely. And last but not least, I think that's it, folks. I think that's where we're going to end there. Congress denies. Boom. That's it. That's all I want to talk about. We know that SpaceX... Oh, another one I read off the top of my head. We know at the same time, 2024, where we're going to be sending people to the moon, SpaceX will be sending people to Mars if everything goes Elon Musk's way and projected. So we'll have something going to the moon, something going to Mars. So that's exciting. The space race in the next 5 years is going to be amazing. We're going to see a lot more launches, a lot more attempts, and we'll see other companies get involved. So, friends, if you want to, it's been a crazy year for me so far. I had a lot of plans, but, as you know, I started to move in February to a new place. And then I lived there, and then I had to move out and live somewhere because the city condemned it, and then I had to get live somewhere else. And now I'm back, found another place to live, and I'm there. It's been craziness the last 6 months, and it's been hard to find some feed because I wanted to go to a place that was more affordable. And though I saved money, I paid in time and production, just dealing with that. But I am at a new place. Had some health problems. I actually, from all that moving for 6 months, moving like 4 times, I pulled my back, and it's feeling better. And I pinched a nerve, and it's the worst pain ever. I pinched a nerve, and I'm feeling like I'm coming out of it. My arm's still numb, but I can still deal with that. It was terrible to sleep. So I've been on my heels, looking to find my base. I had all these plans at the beginning of the year, and none of them came to fruition because I made a bad calculation by moving to a place that would be more affordable, but I ended up sacrificing my plans because I didn't know it was going to go that way. But life has a way of, you have your plans, and then life has its way of telling you that those plans are not going to come out the way you think. And you have to constantly adjust. So, I'm at a new place. I'm looking to start again. I had some coaching programs I wanted to get up to help people fulfill their dreams and help people follow through on the plans for their lives and offer those services, as well as the group coaching matrix. I wanted to start up another podcast. So there's a lot I'm going to try to do and cram in the next 6 months to make this year profitable, as well as finishing what I start. As you know, I'm a big proponent of that. Your success is dependent on your ability to complete things. I believe that because everyone has a different determination of what success is. Everyone. A man coming from Mexico and putting his kids through college and giving them a roof over their head, that's what he planned to do, and he follows through on it. Well, that man is a success. But a billionaire making $1 million in a year is complete failure. So we all have different levels of success. So a common denominator, I have researched for my whole life, the common denominator on those who are successful and those who are not is based on your ability to complete what you started. So I'll leave you with that. I'm going on vacation, not next week, but the following week. I will do one more podcast, and then I'm going to enjoy my vacation, and then I should come back renewed, rejuvenated, and focused and determined to make some gains this year. Can't hold me back, can't hold me down. So, my friends, when the storms of life come against you and you find yourself on your knees, look at that storm. Hold your head up high. Stand tall and say, well, my sensei Jack Burton always says, give me your best shot. Strike the music.